The thing is, for people looking for escorts, like, you get what you pay for in general in life. So if you want an experience that you're investing in, get the experience that you're looking for. Don't half-ass it. This is a luxury. It's a luxury experience. So that's how it should be treated.
Welcome to the Mass Swingers podcast. I'm Brian.
I'm Layla, and on this podcast, we are bringing real stories and experiences of non-monogamy. We wanted to highlight the fun side of unlearning monogamy and how liberating it can be.
Or how awkward it can be, or ridiculous, but how it's always an adventure. All of our stories are real, all the guests that we have are real, but their names may not be. Regardless, there's a lot to laugh about and learn about here.
We do talk about adult experiences for adult ears. So pro tip here, if you think it might be inappropriate for someone else, we do ask that you be mindful of how you choose to listen to us.
And with that being said, let's hop in. Hey, Layla.
Hi, Brian.
You're late.
I'm sorry. I had to drive from South Orange County, and the traffic was way worse than I anticipated. When I first looked, it said an hour and 25. I was like, dope. And then I got in my car, and it was like 2 hours. I was like, what happened? There was no accidents. Anyway, LA is the worst.
I'm not mad at you. You look great.
Thank you. I feel a little disheveled just because I was rushing, but...
I gave Layla some feedback last time about her hiding her assets on the episodes.
Yeah, sorry, guys. Now I have my titties out.
I just think the people wanted to see.
People want the titties.
Like, you paid a lot for them.
I did.
And they look great.
And I've always had big boobs. And then after I had kids and I breastfed, they were like torpedoes. And when I would give a blowjob, I'd like throw them over my shoulder, you know? And I'm like...
Yeah, you know. Yeah.
So you're right. He did a good job.
Yeah, talk more about breastfeeding today.
Oh, do you have a breastfeeding kink?
I do, yeah, I do.
So does Cody.
There's someone in the group who just had a kid and their husband's been trying to pitch it to me for quite some time. Like, you got to try it before it dries up. It's fresh.
Why aren't you doing it right
I tried it the other day. I just, that's a great question. I don't know. I haven't been like chasing it.
When I was breastfeeding and when I would get turned on, I would just get soaked. Like, Cody would do something or say something and turn me on, and my shirt would just get soaking wet. So if we were out in public, I'm like, you can't flirt with me.
Right, exactly.
Because I would just get soaked.
I've heard about this. Like, you're at Whole Foods and it just happens.
Yes.
Right? It's kind of embarrassing when it happens.
Yeah, it is. It is embarrassing. And like, you're already so emotional. So then I'm like crying because I'm embarrassed. And then I'm like, ugh. But yeah, if I was like riding Cody on top and we're having sex, it would just milk everywhere. Just drenching him. And now he has a kink because of that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So he's looking. So let me know who that person is.
I'll tell you, they're buried down. I mean, they're shooting across the room at people.
That's so hot.
It's so flowing like that.
Really
so I'm down. It'll happen. You know, I'm just not chasing the breast milk.
All right, whatever.
We're not talking about breast milk today, though, even though we just did.
No, we have.
This is what happens when you wear these shirts, right? Like, I just talked about
you just talk about breastfeeding, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Today we're talking about something completely different. Mm-hmm. We're talking about escorts.
Yeah. Well, escorts could do it too.
They could.
And they
I have seen on one of the apps, there's different escort apps, and I've definitely seen people that are pregnant. And they'll say, like, I'm only in service for the next like 2 months, and they'll have people book them. And the pictures are they are pregnant for people who have the pregnancy kink.
Do you have a pregnancy kink?
I don't think I have a pregnancy kink. I have not played with any of our friends while pregnant though, so maybe.
Okay, so you would try it.
Oh, 100%.
What if they were like really pregnant, like about to give birth, like big pregnant, and they're just like, ugh.
100%. True story. Someone who was on the podcast a few episodes ago is pregnant now. And you know them. And
I know who you're talking about.
And like I DM'd her on Instagram. I was like, hey, you know, the minute you're down, I volunteer.
Yes.
Because I am down for, depending on the person.
Yeah.
But I don't think I would pay for it.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, escorting's
have you ever paid for an escort before?
Definitely.
You have for sex?
Oh yeah, on 4 continents.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's fat. Like, what drives you to do that as opposed to just finding someone out in the wild?
So it's different now. Today I'll find people in the wild, and I'm married, and my wife's not going to let me do an escort and things like that. But in my late 20s is when I really discovered sex work around the world, and I want to say I developed somewhat of an unhealthy relationship with it. And you know, when we bring our guests on, Dom, I was explaining that to her. It wasn't the act that I was doing, it's that I was choosing which countries I wanted to go visit based on my excitement to book sex workers there. Or even on work trips. Like I had a job that flew me around the world, and I would skip the employee dinner to go find a massage parlor. So it got unhealthy. And then I was unwilling to do that sort of thing here in the US. So I'd almost leave the country, do my dirt, and then come back.
Interesting.
But it's also legal outside the US. And so I got to see the legal side of what it could look like and how it can be safe with like brothels and parlors and things like that. And so many things about what make it unsafe in the US is because it's illegal. So I don't have any shame about that part of me. I don't think I'd be who I am without it.
Right. Totally.
But I didn't pay. It's very different outside the US. I mean, you're talking like $100.
Oh yeah, no, that's nothing.
No.
I wouldn't lift a finger. I wouldn't send a picture for less than 100.
Yeah. And one of my burning questions, of course, is like, how much is Dom charging?
I'm excited. Let's bring her on.
All right.
I'm gonna bring her on.
All right.
So yes, thank you so much for being here. First of all, Dom, I want you to explain, what do you do? Because there's what's your profession? What are you doing? Like, I know, I don't either. Okay, so do you consider yourself a sex worker, an escort? Like, what do you call yourself?
Call me whatever you want, a whore, a sex worker.
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, that's so hot.
I didn't realize it was that kind of episode today.
No, because I never want to say anything to be offensive and be like, oh, you're a prostitute. And you're like, no, I'm an escort. Or like, you know what I'm saying? Because I want to say the right terminology that's respectful to you and the entire industry.
Yes.
I appreciate that. And everyone's different. Listen, like, you can't just go around calling people whores. You gotta
earn
get
it.
consent for it. Yeah,
Right.
No, but for me, like, I have always been a whore at heart. And I am just now like living more openly and true to that. And it's been a really healing process. So yeah, I'm cool with whore or sex worker or
That's so funny because so many people, like when someone wants me to talk dirty to them, I will be like, "Oh, you're such a slut." I would never say like you're such a whore. Like it's a little different, but okay.
I've heard recently that whore is a touchy subject, touchy word. Why is that?
I don't know. I think the Ethical Slut book maybe made people feel proud to be a slut, but there wasn't like, maybe if it was called Ethical Whore.
Maybe. No, that's a good point.
But okay, so you said you've always been a whore at heart. So let's go back. So, were you just like wild in high school?
No, I was a really late bloomer. I didn't lose my virginity till 19, 20. I grew up in a really religious home, a really closed-minded area and conservative area. So like I didn't get to lean into any of that, which made that shame and it was kind of like a pressure pot, like pressure cooker is just going, it's eventually gonna go off. So for me it did, and it started with just like dates. Like I think I heard you mention what's my price. That was kind of my intro in to the like what's this called? Sex work?
Yeah.
The sex work industry.
What do you mean? Someone offered to pay you, and that's how it started for you?
Well, that's how the website is. You go on the website.
Oh, what's your price? Is the website?
What's your price? It's a website.
Oh.
And you go on there, you say, $500, take me out to dinner or more.
Oh, got it.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you even find out about the website?
I do my research. Reddit's a very helpful place. Twitter. I just kind of did I was interested in, making some money and exploring this part of myself. And so I decided to, be a smart businesswoman about it and get paid for it.
How old were you when you first started?
18.
But you didn't lose your virginity until you were 19?
Yeah, so in the beginning it was just kind of like going on dinner date. I mean, it's kind of stayed that consistently throughout. But yeah, like dinner dates. And then I kind of dabbled in like panty selling and feet pics and like,
I want to know about your first experience, because I imagine it's when you're 18 years old and you're signing up for this, it's probably really scary to be meeting up with these men for money, right?
Very scary, very unsafe, honestly, which is why I am open about it now. And anyone that's interested in doing things, I'm like, feel free to talk to me about anything, any questions, I'm here to keep the girls, gays, and they safe and secure. Like, whatever y'all need, I got you. because it is a really dangerous thing for any girl in general to just go on a blind date or an online date.
Right. Whether it's sex work or not, it's scary.
Right. And then when you bring money into it, there's this certain power dynamic that happens. I learned throughout the years how to protect myself.
So the first date you went on, did you have sex with him?
No, the first date I went on, I didn't finish it because it felt too sketchy.
Really?
You just walked away?
Yes.
Did you get paid still?
No, and I didn't get, like, I went, he was like, meet at this bowling alley. I said, okay.
Bowling alley. Okay, where is this?
It was like a public, it was in California. I don't want to get too specific.
It's okay.
But yeah, bowling alley. And then I get there and he's like, all right, meet me in the parking lot. And I already kind of have my spidey senses. You know, as a woman, you kind of, you get that gut feeling and you really got to trust that, especially in sex work. Like you really, really have to listen to your gut because it's always right. He's like, meet me in the parking lot. I walk to the parking lot, you know, with my walls up for sure. And I get to the car and he rolls down the window and the photo is very different. Like he's a lot older and it's just does not feel right. Like my whole body is like, no. And he's like, just get into the car. We'll just drive around and talk. What? And I was like, I forgot. I gotta go do something. Bye. And just kind of ran away because I was not going to get into a car with a random person. That seemed very unsafe. So yeah, I went back and I, you know, got a little more clear on what I was willing to do and how I was willing to meet and set a lot of boundaries for myself to keep myself safe because it is.
That's crazy.
Wow. Okay. So then once in the very beginning, are you just doing dinners with these guys and then you kind of graduated to having sex with them when you got a little bit older?
Yes. Well, so I started sugar dating and it was different experiences for everything. Okay, wait, I have to think. Okay, we're going back a while. Sorry, y'all. This is 10 years.
It's all good. Take your time.
Yeah, no, because we edit everything.
Yeah.
Anyway. So even if you need to take a moment to pause and be like, let me think about this, like we edit everything.
Okay. So yeah, I took some time away. I lost my virginity to like a person I was seeing on my own.
Okay.
Then I came back to it. Then kind of was more open to seeing more people. Because when I was 18 and doing it, I was just kind of dabbling. I was trying to find people who were willing to be platonic, which is a very small amount of people. And I was also very nervous. Like someone offered me a car and I was like, how am I going to explain to my parents?
You a car.
Yeah, like they, you know, because seeking it's a arrangement. So these arrangements I would be offered, it's like, how am I going to explain this to my parents, you know, that I just like have this car? So I took a break from it, came back to it a few years later, and that's when I was able to really lean into it and like meet some really cool people and just have a lot of cool experiences that I wouldn't normally have. And then I just continued to meet like girls that I would work with. I would, you know, kind of learn from them. And
how would you meet the other girls? Would it be like someone wanted a double thing and then they hit you up or something? How'd you end up networking?
Yes, like depending if you're talking about in the beginning or like now. Because in the beginning it was just kind of like I would bring my friends along. Like this.
Really?
Yeah, like it would be a lot of like my specialty is couples. So it'd be a lot of couples just wanting to like have fun and hang out by the pool and have a bunch of girls over and party and like, you know, so I would just bring my friends and we would all just get paid to party. And it was, yeah.
Like we do that shit for free.
We do.
Literally, we do this every weekend for free.
I thought that was what this episode would be like. I thought it would be, she's going to talk about how she gets paid for a bunch of shit we do for free.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always at parties like, ooh, you get paid a lot. I mean, even little things, like as a woman, I'm speaking for myself because I know like the female in like the industry as a female most, but like as a woman, we can get paid to do anything. Like I see someone cough and I'm like, you can get paid for that.
Yeah.
Like, you should record that, girl.
I've had men ask to buy my trash.
Yeah.
Like my bathroom trash.
Your trash?
Yes. My utilities on my coughing videos. Like it's
for hair, from my hairbrush.
Wait. Yeah. You're saying coughing videos?
Sneezing, washing your dishes, getting tickled. You guys, PSA. Record everything you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
and then just pop it up there. I'm fully clothed in my
Pop it
costume
up
videos.
Where are you posting this?
Like kink sites for like content.
That's
or
crazy.
even just normal content sites.
No,
the
it's
kink
true.
world is
Men will
deep,
pay for anything.
and it's amazing. Everyone's so kind.
But it's
great.
different for men and for women. I imagine, like, for me, it'd probably be men also buying my content. Or are there male escorts out there that are crushing it with women?
I mean, both. There's a lot of both. I'm sure if someone's bi and offering their services to more people, they're getting more clients.
Mm-hmm.
But there is definitely clientele out there for straight escorts. Like I've seen it recently.
So how are you vetting these people? Like today, how do you vet them?
A good question, because it's an important part of the business. I go through, basically there's an industry standard that we do. It has multiple checks and verifications. I don't want to give too much because out of like safety reasons, you can't, you can't tell everyone everything and then have someone that's like blacklisted go on there and try and mess with things, if that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, I personally also like, I'm running background checks on people. Like I'm making sure, yeah.
So they're providing like all their info.
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I'm getting IDs. This is a strict strict process.
So are you meeting them at restaurants and then going back to their house? Do you get hotels usually? Do you do it at your house?
Not at my house, but to all the others, yes. It kind of depends. I do more like multi-hour, multi-day, like weekend experiences, things like that. I'm really just like a companion for people, and like it's a lot of just hanging out and listening to people and having an energetic exchange. Like the smallest part of my job is sex.
No, that's interesting. So a lot of it is just companionship.
100%. Physical touch, things like that are people are lacking that in this world, and so they're searching for it, and sex workers is a great way to do that. Like I am obsessed with the women I work with. They're incredible, beautiful, intelligent, deep, emotional, and like emotionally intelligent women. Like they're so healing to be around, and they're worth every cent. I see why people do it. Like I'm always grateful when I'm in the presence of a sex worker. Like I call them earth angels because they're literally amazing. I love them. So.
Every sex worker I've ever met, I've loved. Yeah. They've been like, they're really warm, gentle, beautiful people, which is interesting because like when I'm younger and I think of an escort or a prostitute or a stripper, like I think of kind of trashier kind of thing. But as I've gotten older and as I've become more educated, these women are fucking amazing. Okay, so this isn't legal, right? Or is it legal? Or have you found a loophole here?
So there's a loophole. Escorting is legal because escorting is paying someone for their time. Mm-hmm. What's not legal is soliciting someone for sex, for money, unless there's a camera involved.
Weird.
So,
which is a loophole, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like thinking in my head about this rabbit hole that I could go down right now, but I'm not going to.
Oh, we can go down that. That's the whole reason we're here.
This is the time. No, because this is interesting because I thought this was all illegal, but they're paying for companionship. And you're like, if I end up having sex with them, it's because I wanted to, not I'm getting paid for the companionship.
This is why a lot will say, I won't discuss my services over the phone or via text, right?
Yeah.
Because that's where they'll get caught up.
Right.
So they want to talk about it in person.
Right. Even with the legal brothels, for like legal state and federal solicitation laws, they can't say numbers or what the girls do in specific like that over the phone. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of little laws with everything.
No, just like the loopholes that you have to go through in order for this to be like technically legal. So when these men are reaching out to you and they're like, I want to have sex with you, do you say, you're paying for my companionship, whatever happens, happens?
Yeah, I mean, most girls have that listed on their website as well, of like, you're paying for my time. Whatever happens between two consenting adults is between them. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that's true. Like, I know a lot of girls that something has happened and they'll leave early and keep the money. Nothing happened between them. Like, it's not about the physical acts that are happening. It's just you're paying someone for their time. And like with sugar dating, it's like you're gifting someone for their, time and
And
companionship.
affection and all that.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Like I feel like I'd be too nervous to do it because I'm sure you've had clients that, or have you had clients that you don't particularly like or you're not attracted to, but you kind of have an obligation?
Attracted to, yes. But I'm not just a looks person. Like, I really care about the person that I'm talking to and being able to have a conversation that flows. So, like, there's a lot of clients that I've had that looks wise I wouldn't necessarily be it wouldn't be my first pick, but they're sweethearts and I love them so much and I'm so grateful to know them.
That's really sweet. Okay, what about the bad personalities? Have you ever met up with someone and you're like, you kind of fucking suck?
Oh, are you kidding? Have you ever dated men before? Yeah.
No offense, but
I'm sorry. You know, guys, I try to defend us every episode, but the data is speaking for itself over time. I can't keep standing up for us if you're going to keep being dicks.
yeah.
All right. So all right. Do you have a horror story you can tell?
Oh my God.
I love horror stories.
There's a lot of horror stories.
A horror story.
I feel like the female experience is a horror story. Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of things that have happened that I've had to like learn from
Like what?
in life in general, but what kind of horror? How deep are we trying to go?
Anyway, I'll give you one. You give me one. I'll give you one escorting horror story that I had. Okay.
Wait, you go first.
Yeah,
no?
you go first.
You want me to go? Okay, I'll go first. This happened. Did I talk to you about the massage I got on my honeymoon?
No, the only one I can think of is the stripper that was like, woo, you like
Okay.
that, baby?
All right. So during my honeymoon, I like massages. My wife doesn't. So I have to go get massages by myself. And so we were in, where were we? We were in Bali, I think, in Indonesia. I went to go get a massage by myself and it started getting a little weird once I got there. Like I paid for the massage. Then the lady said, hey, I'll walk out. I'll be right back. And then when she came back, she brought 2 more girls in with her. So now there's 3 women in front of me. And my clothes are all off at this point. And now they're trying to negotiate with me for like a higher level of service. And they start guilt tripping me. They're saying, we haven't had any clients all day, please. You're the only one. Would you please buy us? And the rates they're giving me are really high. Like in US dollars, they're asking for $300 in Indonesia, which is crazy. But I'm looking at the girls and I'm like, I don't even know how old these girls are. One of them has braces. It's like, this is a really weird, precarious situation. And I don't know who else is in this building. So it's just this back and forth of like arguing about it. I'm like, no, I'm going to walk out. I just wanted a massage.
Wow.
And so then at the end of it, they're like, fine. We'll just give you a normal massage. But of course, at that point, it's like the most pathetic, sad massage you can imagine.
Yeah.
I should have just left and I should know better. Like I know that sex work is involved in the fronts and the stores out there, but I don't like when it feels like they're taking advantage of someone. And so when they walked back in, it was like, these are 2 people that may not be choosing to be here. That gets a little weird.
I mean, I've never worked in massage parlors, but I've worked in a dance, like a strip club before, and it's definitely, like, let's be real. Everyone's coming in with a game plan. The clients are coming in to spend as little money and get as much as they can.
Right.
And the girls are trying to get as much money as they can and not do as little, but you know what I mean? Like,
Totally.
do as little as they can, or, you know.
That's any job, you want to get paid and do as little as possible.
So yeah, I can imagine that happening.
That's
my
such
horror
a funny
stories.
way to describe it, by the way. So do you have tips for us when we go to strip clubs, by the way, based on what you just
Tip
said?
your strippers. Go in and plan to spend. If you're not like wanting to spend, don't go there and then they won't hate you. You know, like save up, wait, and then go and be able to have a good time. They'll treat you well. Like it's all about the energy. Like guys who are dicks get worse service, worse prices. Like in general, from what I've heard and noticed in sex work is like there's an asshole tax. So if you're being an asshole, like expect to pay more wherever you are, depending on where you are, or like just get shittier service. Like she'll put less effort in, you know? It's kind of life in general. I feel like if you're rude to the customer service person, they're not going to want to help you.
Yep.
So yeah, be nice to your service workers.
Yep. Okay, your turn. What's your horror story? It can be anything.
Yeah, mine is not the same. An A-list star's now husband. I had met him through very popular sugar dating website. And he was very flighty, and I had a first date with him where I just kind of like went and hung out at his house. Should have kind of already known that he was not someone to mess around with, because he gave me the money in a weird way where he like tried to give me half, and then was like, but if you stick around with me, I'll give you more. This is a long term. Like, he was just very manipulative. I kind of ignored my senses, and he invited me and my friend out. Should I be specific? Whatever. To Chicago. And we flew out there, and again, he did the money thing. And I called him out on it, and he basically threatened to leave us there. And it was very stressful and anxiety inducing, because you're two young girls, you have no like safety or security. That's kind of the big problem with sex work being illegal, is like you were mentioning, like that's where all the problems lie, is because it's illegal, there's no safety. So then like people can come in, like that's why like pimps can come in and say that they can help people, because they add this sense of like protection, you know? So it's just, there's a lot of unsafety that can come with it. There's also a lot of amazing things that can come with it. I've met a lot of like great people and done a lot of really cool things and learned a lot that I normally wouldn't have. But yeah, your body and self kind of being at the will of others can be stressful at times.
Jeez. Okay, so did it end up being okay and he flew y'all back?
It was a round trip ticket, and he was just kind of threatening canceling it all, but I knew his follow through wasn't good. So I just, actually, you know what I did? I called and I brought the flight up earlier. I can't remember if I paid for it or if it was like included, but like, you know, when you can cancel a flight or like reschedule. But I basically rescheduled it for the first flight out, and I got the fuck out of there.
Wow, what a dick.
When they're booking flights, are they booked? Because I've seen these like fly me to you. It'll say FMTY on Instagram. Not Instagram, Twitter. I think it's a hashtag too. You can hashtag FMTY and you'll see a lot of who the providers are. Did you know, Layla? Like,
No, I've never.
yeah, if you wanna find escorts in your city on Twitter, you can just go hashtag date LA, hashtag date San Diego, and you'll start seeing who the providers are in that place. It's like a small little
Fascinating.
Twitter hack. But when they say fly me to you, are you expecting a first class flight? Is it always a coach flight? What's been your experience with that?
Everyone's different. Usually business or first is a common thing depending on who your target market is. You know, everyone's at different things, but if you're selling luxury, then usually you're getting, you know, you're not getting economy plus.
If someone bought you economy plus, would you be like, fuck
No,
this
I mean,
shit?
I personally wouldn't care. I'll take a trip anywhere. Like, but I know a lot of girls that on their website will say only, what is it even called? See, I don't take the fancy stuff.
They all
Yeah,
have
business
different
and
First class.
first class.
First
Yeah.
class. Yeah.
I'm an economy girl. I don't care. I'm here for
You just want to get there. It depends on where you're going. Like,
No, I would be first class or get the fuck out. Like, I would be a spoiled brat if I.
As you should.
I really would be.
but what if it was like economy plus, but to the Bahamas? You know, like economy plus to like.
If you're taking me on a luxury trip and you can afford me, then you can afford first class.
Yeah.
That's just me. I mean,
would
I
never.
Agreed.
I would never buy someone a. That's just not my thing, though.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I wouldn't do that. But I get why someone would do that.
Okay, so here's another question that I have. So you're currently married, right? We don't have
Like, basically.
we can cut.
No, it's just no, I don't care. It's like we're basically married. We're not officially married yet, but we've been together for 10 years. We lived together. We lived together for like 7 years.
What does he think about all this?
He's been so supportive. He was my number one support system, and it's like why I've been able to like de-shame my whole life, because I've been able to have that person who's been like my rock and supportive and loved me and accepted me for all that I am. Like, he just wants me to be happy and safe, and I'm so incredibly grateful, because I did not have many people around me like that. It was life-changing.
Wow. Does he get jealous or like?
No.
Really? That's amazing.
Yeah, like I'll come home after a job and we'll fuck. Like,
Yeah, he's like taking you back.
oh, it's not even that. Like,
Really?
sometimes we won't fuck. It doesn't matter. But like, he's never thrown it in my face, or like, he's always been supportive of me and whatever I want to do. and it's been like very nice.
But I think it's important to note, and you said this off camera earlier before we started recording, that you don't do this. This isn't an every weekend or 3 times a week kind of deal for you. This is more of a once a month or even less sometimes, right?
Yeah, like for me, life is meant to be lived. And so this is a way for me to have a work-life balance. So I'm not here to make as much as I can. Like I've used it as a way to finance my life, pay for school without having student debt, like be able to experience life and enjoy it with people that I love without having to like stress about a 40-hour work week or so. That sounds so bratty. Maybe not 40 hours. Some people have a lot too. But like, yeah, I just feel like
that sounds way better than a 9 to 5. Like, you know, you get to make your own schedule, hang out with people that you genuinely enjoy.
And for me, like I'm autistic, so I get burnout. Like most of the 90% of the girls are neurodivergent. And I really feel like it's because it's a way for us to be able to work within our like energy cycles. And yeah.
Yeah. It also makes, I know someone who did this. They were in law school and they did this on the side because they didn't want to finish law school with a bunch of legal debt. And then because of that, when they left law school, they didn't have to go corporate law. They were able to go do immigration law, which is what they wanted to do in the first place. And so I really got that. I think there's this misconception that people that do sex work can't do other stuff.
Right.
That they can't be professional in some other way. And I think often they're choosing to do it just because it makes more sense or they do enjoy it or it gives them more work-life balance.
Yeah, it couldn't be farther from the truth. Like everyone I know has multiple passions and degrees and, you know, they're incredible humans doing amazing things. And this is one way that they can fund that and not have to like get any other benefactors. You know, there's no loans or anything. You get to fund your own passion projects. And I feel like that's really cool.
Okay. Now the burning question.
I already know what you're going to ask.
What am I going to ask?
What did she charge? Is that exactly what you're going to ask?
That's not what I was going to ask.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
Okay, never mind.
I was absolutely going to ask that. Yeah, how much do you... What are your rates like?
I mean...
And my wife told me to ask it this way. What are they today versus what they were, 6 years ago?
Oh, that's a great question. Tell your wife she's amazing.
She is.
I don't think I met her, right? Yeah, I don't... we haven't been at the same party. Okay, well, hopefully I'll meet her soon and I can tell her myself. But yeah, in the beginning, I did not know my worth. Like to everyone out there dabbling in things, like charge more. You can always charge less, but like you are worthy, you are important.
Some people don't even know where to start because we had an interview with another guest on here who was trying to do the sugar baby thing, and she was charging like $100 to like drive in traffic to someone. Like
she's basically getting her gas covered.
Basically.
Yeah.
And like if that's what you want to do, if you really want to hook up with this person and you just want gas covered, dope. If you want more, if your goals are different, like I would just say figure that out, set your boundaries, figure out what you want to do, what you don't want to do, and stick to that. Yeah. And what was the question? What did I?
Yeah.
As
I'm trying to dance around. You want to know?
Media trained? She is dodging the hell out of this question.
And of course, we don't have to, we can edit all of this out if you're not comfortable. And that goes for any questions. We can edit anything.
It goes back to, the loopholes and legality and stuff. When I was first, the thing, it hasn't changed too much. Like when I was first on websites where I'm doing like sugar dating and things like that, like I would ask for at least 4 figures. And I wouldn't do it by hour. I would just do it by, hanging out, like going to the museum and, a whole day together. After a few years, I kind of realized that I could be making more by chunking my time down. So now it's like 5 figures or like 4 figures. It kind of depends on the experience,
Okay, so let me get, what if I gave you a scenario and then would you throw a price at me?
Oh yeah, like you're the client.
You're the client but like legally, the only problem is like legally I can't do this. But if we have a makeup scenario where I'm the client and you're
let's do
the escort.
Yeah.
Maybe we can do that.
Okay.
Like trying to wiggle through.
Okay, so let's say, all right, it's in LA, so I'm not going to fly you to me. You don't have to fly me to you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But we'll do 6 hours. So no overnight. And it'll be dinner and we go back to the hotel and we hang out for 6 hours?
I think people should expect to pay 5 figures. Like,
5 figures.
yeah. And more if you're at a legal brothel.
Hmm.
You hate
So you're
that
saying
answer.
10 grand plus?
Yeah.
That much?
Yeah, that's what she means by 5 figures. Yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, is she mean 5? Like, you're getting
Yeah.
paid that much? Okay, I quit. I'm out of here. I'm gonna go be a sex worker. That's insane. That's so much money. I didn't realize that.
But I get it. Okay, because I'm coming at, he's like, all right, I work out a lot. I'm a smart person. I think I'm
Right.
funny. I speak 3 languages. So then like I should be able to charge more for all of those things, right? So from that standpoint, sure. And you're also bucketing yourself in a higher clientele. And you're saying, I want to, for the amount of time that I do this, I'd rather take 1 or 2 clients a month at that rate than have to work
Right.
every other
Right.
I understand.
Yeah, so everyone structures their business different. So you can structure it however you want. You can charge a lot less and, you know, maybe work more and do, you know, you get to do whatever you want. Like, the thing is, for people looking for escorts, like, you get what you pay for in general in life. So if you want an experience that you're investing in, invest in that.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
get the experience that you're looking for. Don't half-ass it. Like, go save up, find the person that you like, you know, like, see their Twitter and their personality, find someone that you vibe with and you want to, like, maybe have a role play that you want to play out. You know, like, there's a bunch of different things that you can do, that you can have fun and get creative. But yeah, I don't, like, this is a luxury. It's a luxury experience. So that's how it should be treated.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Honestly, like, I love that. And I love that you know your worth and that you've, like, raised your prices because you know that you have so much value. Like, you're worth 10 grand. You're worth more than that, you know? Like, that's amazing. So, does your family know?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there was a little stint where they found my sugar photo. Like, they found my nudes. That was painful.
Whoa.
No.
You know, they don't ask questions they don't want the answers to.
Okay, that's good. So they respect your kind of privacy and your private life in that kind of way.
I think I've kind of forced them to at this point.
No, good for
I've
you.
enforced pretty strong boundaries. I've been to therapy for a while. I got them into therapy, so.
Good. Because my parents, like, the second, you know, that they got any sort of idea, like, they were just hounding me with their opinions and hounding me with, this isn't right, what you're doing isn't right, blah, 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 blah. So it took me probably longer than it took you, I imagine, just to set a boundary and be like, you know what, this is my life. I'm 33 years old. I know what I'm doing. I'm not hurting myself or anybody around me, and I love it. So fuck off in a sense, you know?
I mean, and it takes a while to do that. There's a lot of unlearning, a lot of de-shaming, a lot of inner work that you have to do before you can stand up like that, you know? So it took me a while also.
That's amazing. So you've been in the lifestyle, like, do you consider yourself swingers? Do you consider yourself E&M, polyamorous?
Yeah, we're poly.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I don't
multiple
meet a lot of,
partners.
I feel like people in the lifestyle, they're either E&M or swingers.
At
Like,
least
I love my poly people.
At least in LA.
You
At least in
know,
LA. There's not as many poly people.
I've noticed that.
Can I throw one more question out there from
Please.
this was I talked to my wife on the way here and she was very excited about the conversation. One thing came up is that, like, 10 years ago it was probably all cash, but today there's crypto, there's Cash App, there's Venmo. I'm curious how, like, the payments and the expectations around that have evolved over time.
It's evolved in different ways. There's more options to be able to give a deposit. So when someone has to be more discreet about something, you're able to use Coinbase type of things versus just cash and having to leave an envelope somewhere. You know, it's a big process. So you can get a discreet payment or gift from someone that way, which is nice. It's also been harder at times because with the popularity of OnlyFans and with the destigmatization that it has brought at times, it also has brought more light to sex work, so more criticism and more backlash for sex workers, like with banks and things like that. I know a lot of people that got kicked out of their bank accounts because they're doing adult content, you know, so there's pros and cons to everything, you know, so.
No, I would imagine that, like, OnlyFans, because it is, It's so accessible. So many people are doing it. I mean, by the time that, my kids are in high school, they're going to be like, your mom did OnlyFans, so did my mom, so did my mom. You know what I mean? So
Totally.
it's everyone's doing it. And I imagine it really did make sex work less of a kind of perhaps like a shameful experience because we're all kind of doing it, So I imagine that like as that's kind of come on the rise, you've been like, okay, like this is almost more comfortable now.
Yeah, definitely. I've noticed now when I tell people, that I'm a sex worker, they almost always like, oh, OnlyFans?
Right. Yeah.
No, there's other forms, but sure, that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely created more of a conversation around the topic, which is good. That's what destigmatization is all about talking about the thing, So I'm here for it.
Do you ever have women clients?
Yes.
Really? Just like solo one-on-one with other women?
I've not personally done solo. I've done like playing with a woman while a man watches. But as far as just having a female client, no, like I've had people exploring their sexuality, but again, it's with their husband or something like that.
Do you enjoy those? Like
I love.
If you're unicorning, but you're
love unicorning.
See, and then you're getting paid to do it.
Yes,
like, that's amazing.
It's really the best. Like every time, I'm like pinching myself. I'm just like, this is the best life. I'm just prancing around.
You're creating a fantasy, like fantasies that they've probably had maybe their entire lives. Like you're helping them fulfill that.
100%.
That's so fun.
Yeah, it's magical. It is. I love it.
Man, Layla, is there an experience that you would pay for having? Because Dom's talking about like, all right, is there something unique you want to try? And it might be easier that way. So I'm curious for you and I know it's a challenging question because we have so many options for free.
If I didn't get it for free, right? Let's say I didn't get it for free. And I was someone that didn't have the group of friends that we had, right? And I really wanted to experience something. I would pay for a gangbang of like really good looking, fit, nice gentlemen.
I love that you said that.
I would 100% do that.
Because this whole time I've been listening to you, I've been thinking like, hey, maybe if I made a profile with Layla, we'd do really well. Maybe if I made a profile with like 2 guy friends that I know from the space, maybe 100%. That profile would crush it, right? For people who, we had a guest and he was like, every girl wants to have the 2 guy experience.
Yeah. Would you do that? Would you? Because you're straight, right? Or
I'm straight, yeah.
So you'd be gay for pay, essentially?
No, I don't. I was saying.
Oh, just the girl. Okay, gotcha. But would you be gay for pay?
I wouldn't.
Okay, what about?
Okay.
I wouldn't.
For $20,000, would you fuck a guy?
Man, that's such a tough question.
It's my favorite game to play.
I think okay, so here's the thing. I think I would have a hard time. Even pretending to be turned on. I'm not gonna get hard. So I think for a woman, you could not be turned on but there's still a mental side of it. I think it would be tough.
Okay, fair.
I think it would be challenging for me to pretend like I like this.
Yeah, I would pretty much do anything for $20,000. I really would. I'll shit on your chest. Like I would do anything for $20,000.
Yeah, I would hope there's enough like desperate housewives out there looking for something to serve it.
Out there that do that.
Yeah, like gigolos are a real thing, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
I think I would try to be a gigolo.
You'd be a great gigolo.
For women though.
Yeah.
And I could bring a friend.
Yeah.
Male or
okay,
female.
so let's play with this idea. So he's going to be a gigolo. What's the first thing he needs to do? Like, would he create a profile on X? Would he create a profile on what's your price? Like, where's the first stop for him?
Not what's my price.
Oh, is that
definitely not what's my price?
Yeah. Photos. Get great photos.
Yes.
Figure out, your name, your alter ego, your vibe. What is you go about it the way you would any business. What's your target market? What's your niche? What do you like? And then also, what do you want to be doing? Because they're going to feel it. Like energy doesn't lie. If you are doing something like you're saying, if, you're really not into male experience, you're not going to be able to perform the way you want to. So I would say figure out what you like and who you're trying to attract and create a profile based off that. Yeah. X is a great, I hate that name.
I know.
I really want to call it Twitter.
X is so stupid.
Oh yeah. I mean, I keep saying Twitter.
We'll just say Twitter.
Okay,
yeah, they know what it is.
Yeah. Twitter And then you can do the ad sites if you want. Obviously, like you get more eyes on you, but you can also just start, posting video. It depends. Would you be face out or face in? Would you be hiding your face or
I think I would definitely hide my face.
Do you
out?
hide your face?
I do.
I would hide my face. I would show my physique
Yeah.
for sure. And then I would say the things I just said, like, oh, languages, all that. I get really curious, like, who would book me? Because in my mind, I think it would be Desperate Housewives. I think the more likely thing would be couples that want to bring in a bull.
I agree.
You agree with the
I
second?
think you could do well as a bull for sure.
Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. That's the nicest thing someone said to me all week.
I grew 3 sizes.
Well, especially, I mean, they would want to bring you in to play, like they would want to do an MFM or MMF, but I feel like that's not something you would be open to. So bull is the only option.
And it hasn't, if it's a trans, man, this is a conversation for another time.
We'll get into it later.
I don't have any desire to do that. But like, if the situation, oh man, that's so tough. There's a discomfort. There's a discomfort in me right now, even talking about it.
Yeah, that's good. Lean into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
There's just discomfort there. It doesn't mean I want to lean into. You mean lean into the discomfort or the experience?
Into the discomfort. Like, talk about it. Like,
I think that,
say more.
I think that, what it came down to with my wife and what she figured out is like, I do have a curiosity about penises sometimes. That's why like I can date trans women and things like that, but I'm not into men whatsoever. And so I think energetically that's where, and it's for me, it's even like the pheromones of, because sometimes even with trans women, depending on the scent, it'll kind of trigger me.
Yeah.
Because they still have pheromones that smell
More masculine.
Yeah.
masculine.
Right.
Yeah. And like I can't hide that, and it's challenging. So
Yeah.
and so even with women, when I'm being pegged, the erection's harder for me to hold because of what's going on there. So I can only imagine that going up a level if I was playing with a male.
Gotcha. Yeah. That's really, I appreciate you sharing that. I feel like that's an important conversation.
But if I was ever to try it, getting paid to do it might make a lot of sense.
When-
I get
Oh,
what you're saying.
It's so hot, you guys.
Funny, harder.
I have a wet hot money kink. Like it's true. Like, oh, there's something so hot about a man giving you money. Yeah, or just like getting paid to do things that you enjoy doing in general, right? That's the American dream.
Right.
I'm just living the American dream.
Because then it doesn't feel like work, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever go to a party? Well, how long have you been in the lifestyle?
I mean, like 10 years. Like, we've been E&M the whole, yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So like you've been going to sex parties and all that kind of throughout the whole time, or is that newer?
I was originally just getting paid to attend events and things. It wasn't till a few years ago that I started going for my own pleasure, because I feel like there was a lot of just performing happening in my sex life, and I just wanted to get back to like me and what I wanted. So yeah, I started going to parties and playing and having fun.
Do you ever go to parties and you're like, I could be getting paid to do exactly what I'm doing right now? This is kind of pointless. Or do you really just go in with a different headspace and it's totally worth it?
No, because sometimes I just go to hang out with my friends. Like
Same.
It's a different energy, a different headspace. Like it's fully different. If there's like a lame party and I just feel like I've played with someone not because I wanted to. Like I've had moments in my past as a young girl where I played with a guy and I was like, oh, I could have gotten paid for that. Like at a bar or out or something. That definitely has happened. But at parties, no. I'm like, I am here for the vibes of just like leaning into my desires. Because the other thing with work is like, I'm doing a lot. Like there's a lot of mental work that goes into it to like create someone's desire and like fantasy come to life, basically. So like I'm constantly taking the temperature of everyone in the room, especially with couples. Like being a unicorn, there's a lot to it to make sure that everyone's comfortable and having a good time. And, there's different ideas of what people want to have going on. So yeah, there's like a lot to manage and handle. Whereas when I'm at a party for myself, I get to just do what I want to do. Like I've stopped someone they were taking their pants off. I was like, I want to suck your dick. They were taking their pants off and I was like, actually, I'm going to go, bye. Like,
why? Because you were just like, this doesn't feel right. Bye.
It's just,
I'm not getting paid for this and I don't actually want you.
Yeah, like I wasn't feeling it anymore.
He's so offended. You'd be like, the fuck?
That's never happened to me. And yeah, I would be hella insecure. I'd be like, do I stink? Like, what is happening?
As soon as he shows his dick, she's like, never mind.
I would call Layla and be like, I don't know what to do.
No, nothing about them. I just felt like my energy was like,
yeah,
you get in this mode as a woman of like saying yes, and as a people pleaser, like, you know, you just kind of are doing the thing. And I was really practicing being intentional and like listening to myself. And I was just like, actually, I don't think I want to do this right now. Like, I'm good with the foreplay that we had, and like, thank you.
Yes.
Bye. And he was amazing about it. I will so hook up with him later if I see him at another party. Like, he was great. It was nothing about him. I was just like, I was just feeling a little too ungrounded. I needed to go and like ground.
That's a huge deal though. That's a really big deal, because when I first entered this lifestyle, like there were plenty of scenarios where I was getting ready to hook up with someone and I was like, I don't actually want to. I just wanted the foreplay. I wanted the tease. I wanted the fun, but like then I would do it anyway. And then I would just be like, I didn't, well, whatever, you know? And so I've gotten a lot better at listening to my own body and listening to like my heart and my head being like, no, not right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've gotten way better at that.
Yeah,
So,
it takes time.
It takes time. It takes practice.
Okay, last question for you. This is burning for me. Have you run into a client in public?
It's a great question. Yes. And we both acted properly. You guys can't act like you know each other. Like, that's the big thing. I was with my partner at the time, and I didn't know that he had a partner, but he was there with what seemed like his very long-term partner. And we were in the same line at the checkout. Like, he was right behind me. I turned around, I saw him, and I was like, oh, thank you for all the gifts that are in my kitchen.
So you don't say anything. You just
No.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Do you text him after?
No.
Nothing. Okay.
No, discretion is huge, especially for me. Like, I don't reach out. You never know.
Right. If a wife is looking through a phone, or if their phone is out or something, or okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I just sent a silent, like, a heart over, you know, like, thanks for everything.
Yeah.
Thanks for my really cool
You turned around
Vitamix.
And can you pass me that chapstick? I really want that.
Right.
Little signal. I know it's you. That's so funny.
No, my heart was pounding so fast though. I like looked at my partner. I was like, that's him. Which is cool that I'm able to be honest and I don't have to live this like double life of hiding it from that would be horrible.
Yeah. This has been so informative and so wonderful. And just like, I already saw sex workers in such a bright light, but just you in general are just so radiant and wonderful. We threw, so I had my birthday party. Y'all didn't come because you were traveling or something. It was my birthday party last year, and everyone's, you know, drinking and on shrooms, and everyone's just kind of dancing. Half the people are naked, blah, blah. Dom is cleaning my house like a little angel. She's picking up all the cans. She's like, does anyone need any water? Like, little angel. And that's just like who Dom is, you know, like she's such a caring, warm, gentle person. And I can see why somebody would pay $10,000 for that, because it's intoxicating. It's
I could tell, yeah. And it's probably not what they're experiencing at home, right? They're like, I want to have this experience instead.
Yeah. Hey. Well, thank you so much for being here, for being so open and honest and vulnerable with us. I absolutely adore you. This has been really fun. I could talk to you all day.
Yeah. Yeah. And we'll have you back. I want more story. Like, I'm really curious if you ever run into a client at a party and what that experience would be like. So if that ever happens, would you come back on and share it?
Of course. I found a client through a party.
Ooh. We're out of time.
We're going to bring you back.
Perfect.
We're going to have more.
Yeah, let's leave it at that. Layla and I have some thinking to do. You know, we always in these episodes and we say, you know, go try someone or something new. And I'm just realizing that through these episodes, how much new options pop up.
Yeah.
Through it's like porn and now like escorting and sugar baby, like so many options for people. You know, just be responsible about it. You know, that's all we can encourage.
Be safe.
Yeah. So until next time, people, hey, try someone or try something new.